5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody. This is Christian Brindle and welcome to the Everything Medicare Podcast. It is Monday and you know what that means. I bring you a new episode of the Everything Medicare Podcast where we talk about your Medicare, your Social Security, your Medicaid, and everything that has to do with your retirement. It is May 7th, folks, which means next week is National Women's Health Awareness Week. I think that's how it is. I have a special guest with me today, my wife, my baby, my business partner, my partner in life. She is in the process of becoming a broker herself, folks, a Medicare specialist. She's been working with me for the past couple of months now, and I wanted her to get in on this conversation that we're going to have today. How you doing?
Good.
Today we're talking about Medicare Advantage plans. Now, first things first, what do you think about Medicare Advantage plans starting out? Is this something that people need to know about?
Most definitely. I think Medicare Advantage plans, depending on the person, of course, can be very beneficial. Sometimes it can be better than the group plan that they're on now, maybe better than their employer plan, or the individual plan that they have that they may be able to switch to from an employer. I mean, Medicare Advantage plans are definitely better than what me or you can get these days.
Apples and oranges, baby. Apples and oranges. Medicare Advantage plans, folks, also known as Part C, the ever controversial Part C. Why do they call it Part C?
They call it Part C because it includes A and B, obviously, which you need to have Medicare in the first place. But then they also add drug coverage inside of that.
That's what they tell us.
Yeah, and so that makes it Part C by having A, B, and D, which creates C.
I don't know about you folks, but if you ask me, that's a terrible explanation. That's the explanation. That's the explanation that the government will give you. It's not a bad explanation on your part. It's a bad explanation that they tell us.
Okay,
it's a terrible reason. There is no good reason. There is no freaking good reason. Wow. It makes no sense at all. And I'll tell you that. I've been working with this stuff for years. But that's the politically correct answer.
It's also the easiest explanation.
I don't know. It still doesn't make sense to me. What is Medicare Advantage, folks? Well, let's get into the basics about it. You might have seen it tossed around. You might see commercials with, large insurance companies, one that starts with an M and rhymes with ooh, Anna. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, I know you do.
No.
You see these commercials for these big insurance companies, and in some points of the year, you'll see whole TV shows put on by them. It's craziness, where they'll advertise $0 premium plans. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's not. $0 premium plans. Some Medicare Advantage programs come with $0 premium plans, and people jump right into them, not knowing anything about them, but to know that they don't have to pay anything. Folks, there's a lot you need to know about Medicare Advantage plans before you make a decision. Agreed?
Oh, yeah.
What are some things that you notice that people need to go talk about? We're just going to talk about the basics. Don't get into too much detail, but tell me just a little bit on the surface of what people need to look at when they pick out an Advantage plan.
Well, starting out from what I've seen and from what you've shown me and when we've sat down with your potential clients, a big one is the network. The network, because, these policies that do have a $0 premium, yeah, that's great. You don't pay anything because it's federally funded, but it's not that great if you can't go anywhere. Another thing is drug coverage. Drug coverage is a big difference on all Medicare Advantage plans. There could be one that's zero that has maybe a small network, but great coverage for your drugs, and then another one that has a big network, but isn't good on your drugs. It really is just a personal preference. But basically what I would say is, 1, your doctors, 2, your drugs, and also the network. It would be good to get all 3 if you can, or get close to.
Wouldn't the doctors and the network be the same thing?
Yeah, I guess that's right.
It's still Monday, stuck in the weekend.
Yep.
Well, folks, I hope you had a terrific weekend, and I'm just psyched that you're here with us this week on a beautiful Monday, the 7th of May, 2018. Stay with us into the second segment. We are going to come right back and we're going to talk about everything that has to do with a Medicare Advantage program, how it works, why it's no premium, why there's a network, how the drug coverage works, co-pays, whatever you want to know, what kind of things they cover, everything. I'm going to talk about it next segment. Welcome back. Segment 2 of the Everything Medicare Podcast. Today we're talking about Medicare Advantage Plans Part C. What is it? How does it work? What does it have to do with you? We talk about your Medicare, your Social Security, your Medicaid, and everything that has to do with your retirement, all in one neat little package called a podcast where you get to listen. I'm here with Stormy Brindle. How are you?
Good. How are you?
It's Monday. I love Monday. Monday's my favorite day of the week because I get to come and talk to you folks about my favorite thing in the world. Just to be clear, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but it's up there. So we're talking about Advantage plans today, folks. First of all, what I wanted to kind of touch on a little bit is how Advantage plans work and how you can get them for no premium. Because that's the biggest question I get. How do they make their money? Well, the simplest way I can explain it is when you pick up a Medicare Advantage program, you run your Medicare through a private insurance company, right?
Right.
And basically what this means is they take the place of Medicare. So they become your primary insurance, right? When you have Medicare in like a supplement or Medicare on its own, Medicare is your primary insurance. But with an Advantage plan, they take over. They take the responsibilities. They become your primary insurance. So Medicare doesn't have to pay anymore for the primary services. Now, would you agree with me that it takes a big amount of stress off of Medicare's shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, basically what Medicare does is it will fund the insurance companies to take care of Medicare-eligible people. And by doing that, what will happen is the insurance company will take over those bills and those restraints and things of that nature. And that, in a sense, to me is a good thing because Medicare is great and all, but personal insurance companies, they have some additional benefits that Medicare by itself doesn't have, like dental, vision, hearing. Not all of them have dental, but some. But it's just nice to have those extra benefits, especially like over-the-counter items, the gym membership, silver sneakers. I mean, it offers a little bit more than just original Medicare.
It's true, but there's good and bad, right? There's good and bad about having original Medicare with a supplement and having an Advantage plan. I kind of talked about in earlier podcast episodes, there's basically two ways you can go with your Medicare, folks. You can pick up a supplement with a drug plan, or you can pick up an Advantage plan. You can't have both. They don't work together. There's a third way, but that's if you have a group plan or a retiree plan, but we're not going to talk too much about that today. We will in later episodes. Basically, with an Advantage plan, the way it works is since this new insurance company, whichever one, private insurance company, take your pick, they become the primary insurer for you, become your primary coverage, and they provide you with everything wrapped into one. While with a Medicare and a supplement, you have to pick up a different plan for each thing. Like Stormy was saying, they give you everything wrapped into one. So you get your medical benefits, your prescription coverage, some plans give you dental, vision, hearing, none of which Medicare gives you, by the way, BTW. And they all give you gym memberships. 90% of them, 99% of them give you gym memberships. And so they come with an array of different types of benefits. Now, as far as the medical benefits go, they kind of work something like this. They'd be very similar to any insurance you've had throughout your life. What do the co-pays look like on a Medicare Advantage plan?
When it comes to doctors, like primary care physicians, it could be really anywhere from $0 to $10, depending on what you go through.
It depends on your area.
Yeah.
This depends on your area. The copays look something like this, right? You're going to have a copay for your primary care physician. It could be 10, could be 20, could be 30, could be 0. It depends on where you live. If you see a specialist, it could be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. It depends on where you live. Every area has its own specific market when it comes to Medicare Advantage plans. And so you basically have a copay for everything, It could be $200 a day in the hospital, $300, $400 in the hospital. Medicare Advantage plans have out-of-pockets. What are those?
Maximum out-of-pockets is like a safety blanket where you pay a certain amount out of your pocket, and once that amount is met, if you're still within that year you started that plan, the insurance company will then cover you at 100%, but it does reset at the beginning of every new year. But basically, it's a safety blanket, so you're not paying too much out of pocket for services.
Yeah. I mean, and these, maximum out of pockets, to reach them, folks, that's based off of what you pay, your specific copay. Nowadays, only 2% of people nationwide hit their maximum out of pockets on a Medicare Advantage plan, no matter how low they are. Even in markets where they're $3,000, $4,000, $2,000 max. The way these plans are designed and structured, they're very difficult to hit the maximum out of pocket. Because it's all based on what you pay, and more than likely, in most areas of the country, you're going to be looking at $50, $60, $70 for an emergency room. You spend one night in the hospital, it could be $100,000 bill for all you know. You'll end up paying $200, $300, $400, depending on your plan and where you are. So for what you pay for them, which in a lot of cases is nothing, they give you great coverage. Now sometimes they have premiums, but if they do, they're usually not that high. Think of $20, $30, $40 per month in premiums. Some of them can be $60, $70, $80, $90, $100, but I'm not crazy about those ones, because typically they don't give you much more than some of the other ones. But we're going to finish this up, and we're going to talk about networks, what to look for, what not to look for, what to avoid in segment 3. Stick with us. Welcome back for segment 3 of the Everything Medicare Podcast. This will be our final segment. We appreciate you sticking with us this long. And, well, how could you not? How could you not want to hear this voice? Anyway, we're talking about Medicare Advantage plans today, folks. And what do they have to do with you? What is it? How does it impact your life? How does it work? What's the good? What's the bad? What's the ugly? What's the pretty? Everything. Last segment we were talking about kind of how the benefits work, right? So it combines everything into one. It's very similar to any insurance you probably had throughout your life. It's not the same kind of coverage. Now with the supplement, we talked about a Medigaps, I think it was 2 weeks ago, something like that. Yeah. With the Medigaps, folks, you really have better medical coverage, but you pay a lot more in premium. It's kind of a, give and take kind of deal here. Medicare Advantage plans are going to give you more diversity as far as benefits. They include the prescription coverage, the dental, vision, hearing. If some of them give you dental, they don't all give you dental. Some of them give you gym memberships. There's a lot of possible benefits. The drug coverage works just like a Part D plan. I mean, it follows the same rules. It carries the donut hole, catastrophic coverage, all that fun stuff we talked about last week. It's already Monday. We talked about that last week. That mess they call a donut hole.
Well, it's going away soon.
2020 can't get here fast enough. So now we want to talk about networks, okay? So tell the people a little bit about HMOs and PPOs and what that has to do with them.
Well, an HMO is your basic Medicare Advantage plan. It's the most average one that most people have, where you are restricted to an area that you were eligible to go to. And if you go out of network for whatever reason, it's not covered, your services, you would have to pay out of pocket yourself if it's out of network.
Except for an emergency room.
Yes, except for an emergency room.
And some HMOs, too, folks, will pay in an Instacare, urgent care facility. Depends on the HMO. A lot of times it's very common for an HMO plan to have referrals from your primary care physician to see a specialist, but not all of them. There are some that don't require that. What's a PPO, baby?
A PPO is a little bit more freedom. of being able to go where you want. Like if you have a primary care doctor that's not in the network, but the plan is perfect for you in every other way. If you get a PPO, then you're eligible to go see that doctor. Depending on the PPO, going out of network may or may not be more. It really depends on the plan itself, but that's what I really like about a PPO, and some don't even require referrals because you have that freedom to go in and out of the network.
Very true. From my experience with PPOs, I mean, like everything, they have their good and their bad too. PPOs are better in the sense of flexibility, right? Meaning that you can go where you want to go. There's some plans in Florida where we work with some people and we help some people. You know that basically their service area, meaning their in-network coverage, is the whole state. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Was here.
It's ridiculous, folks. It's ridiculous, but. A lot of times with PPOs, from my experience, usually their in-network copays are higher than the in-network copays of an HMO. That's usually what you want to expect. And the reason the HMOs can give you those lower copays is because they're controlling you, they're condensing you, they're making sure that you don't go to anyone unless they really approve it.
Well, you can go somewhere else. It's just they won't help you if you do.
Basically, folks, let's get down to the basics here, okay? What are the things that you need to look at when you're looking at a Medicare Advantage plan? It's like I talk about in the Medicare Guide. If you haven't picked that up yet, we're going to talk about that at the end. Stick around for that, because that book can help you, folks. I promise. Basically, what you need to look for with a Medicare Advantage plan is, one, your doctors need to be covered. A bigger network is always better than a smaller network if you can help it, even if your doctors are covered. Prescriptions. You want to find one that covers your prescriptions well and to the best possible solution for your specific needs and preferences. That can make one big difference from one Advantage plan to another, same as any drug plan. The third one is, low copays, good benefits overall. Those are the three things that an Advantage plan will come with. And those benefits could be medical benefits, dental, vision, hearing, extra stuff, all that stuff. You want that extra stuff if you can get it. Usually in most markets, there's a plan that will give you the best of all three worlds. But not always, but you just want to make sure that you're doing your part in working with a good agent and making sure that agent's showing you all this stuff. If this agent isn't covering all this information like this, can his butt. Right?
I don't know what's worse, an agent that doesn't give you all the information or an agent that's not contracted with every insurance company to give you that option.
Yeah. Call them captive agents. Nothing worse.
Or agents that do it on the side and they act like they know everything about it.
Yeah, it's a hobby, folks. Do you want to be taking care of someone that does this as a hobby? No way, Jose. If I'm going to learn how to golf, I don't want to go with someone that goes every once or twice a year, and then have them teach me, and then I go play in a tournament, my career's on the line. I'm going to go to Tiger Woods. I'm going to go to Phil Mickelson. I'm going to go to some professional golf trainer to teach me how to play golf. Same thing with this. You don't want to learn from someone who's an amateur. Work with someone good. There's always someone good near you. If you're in Utah, call us, work with us. I'm a little biased, but I'll tell you right off the bat, I think that we are among the top insurance agencies in the state that do Medicare programs. A lot of places don't specifically do Medicare programs. I think that's where we stand out above a lot of the competition. Before we close out this final and third segment, I want to talk about Medicare guidance, folks. If you haven't picked it up yet, go ahead over to Amazon, type in Christian Brindle, that's me, Christian, Christian, B as in boy, R-I-N, D as in dog, L-E, Brindle, Christian Brindle, and pick up a copy of Medicare guidance, folks. It's a little red book, 50-ish pages long, right?
Yeah, about that.
And how long do you think it could take them to read this?
Honestly, I would say a day and a half if you're just reading it bit by bit. Me, it takes an hour. It's really a small read.
Basically, folks, I condensed everything you need to know when picking a Medicare plan into one book, and I simplified it, made it easy to read. I interpreted all the government hoo-ha that they translate everything in to make it confusing, and I make it easy to understand, okay? The book's selling on Amazon for less than $5. For that price, I practically should just be giving it away. It's worth every penny. It's a one-time easy read, and it can save you thousands of dollars in making a good decision, whether it be prescription costs, medical costs, in-network, out-of-network stuff, picking one that doesn't cover your doctor. Everything you need to know is in that book, okay? So head over to Amazon, pick it up. You won't be sorry, I guarantee you. Folks, remember, insurance is an investment in yourself, protecting yourself. The best investment you can ever make is in yourself because you are your greatest asset. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for being here, Stormy.
Thank you.
And I will see you folks next Monday. Have a terrific week. God bless. And I'm out.